About intervals. That is the distance between two notes, any two notes, in musical pitch space. So the distance between C and G, or the distance between B and D, or even the distance between this E and this D. Wow, that's a big distance. The name we give to the distance between these two notes is called an interval. An interval just means a space. Sometimes people call intermission, the space between two parts of a concert, an interval. Each of these intervals can be measured in several different ways. One way to measure it would be by the number of half steps that we cross as we go from the bottom note to the top note. We're not going to do it that way, but it is a very common and useful way to measure intervals. Instead, we're going to measure our intervals in the traditional and useful way, that is a two-step process. It's called size and quality. First, interval size. Interval size means how many letter names are touched between the bottom note and the top note of the interval. So if we start, I'll draw that again here. If we start on C and we're headed up to G, let's make those notes look more important. How many letter names will I use? Well, I'm going to start on the first note. That's 1. D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5. So that means this interval is a fifth. It spans 5 scale names, or 5 letter names. All right? If I take that interval that I had at the top, which was a B, to a D, and I say, how many letter names does it span? There are 3 letter names. This is a third. This big interval at the very top of the page, from the low E up to the high D, is a really big interval. Sure, could I count how many letter names is between it? Well, I can save myself a little trouble. I know that by the time I get to this E, that's an octave. So that's 8. Here we go. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is a 14th. Oh my goodness. Fortunately for you, we're going to stick for right now to intervals that are an octave or smaller. It's handy to get to know the interval sizes as you look at them on the staff. Here's an interesting fact. Odd-numbered intervals are going to either be on all lines or all spaces. So let's go to treble clef. Here's an interval. Oh gosh, it's either a unison, which it certainly isn't, a third, a fifth, or a seventh. Quick, what is it? Well, the quickest guess is a seventh. It's the biggest one before we get to an octave. On 2 spaces. Here's another seventh. On 2 lines. Here's a third on 2 spaces. Here's another third on 2 lines. Okay. Even numbers. Even numbers would be seconds, fourths, and sixths, and octaves. And these are going to use a combination of 1 line and 1 space. No matter what you do, no matter what clef you're in, they're going to come out 1 line or 1 space. For example, here in alto clef, oh no, what's that? It's a second. It's an even number. Let's see, how about this one? It's a fourth. It's an even number, line to space. You could look at that quickly and say, well, it's not a second. It's too small to be an octave, so it's either a fourth or a sixth, and the more practice you have, the easier it is to look. Oh, wow, here's a G. Where's the other G? Right on the line. So we have a space to a line or a line to a space. I don't know why I was missing the other numbers in there. I'm going to go back and put it in. Okay, so the first step of interval knowledge is to understand the concept of interval size. And it really is just counting up how many letters you cross from one note to another. Interval size.